Hi, welcome to this live reading. Thank you for being here. I've got my little setup that I keep working on because I'm newer to doing lives with any kind of consistency. So this is my little screen here that's gonna load any second now so that I can track what's happening in the chat. I have a fairly weak signal here, so this might take a minute to load up. Actually, it looks like it's doing okay. Okay, it looks like it's doing okay. So, thank you for being here. Welcome. I'm just going to be planning to do a tarot layout. I'm going to do a point in time reading for the collective, just a general message. Although I did get some kind of channeled messages before I arrived in the space tonight, and they're good ones. I'm kind of excited and glad, and it made me laugh. Spirit made me laugh several times with some of the themes that were kind of just giving me a little sneak peek about what themes might want to come out this evening, and so it was funny and it gave me a chuckle. And I think I'm getting it pretty dialed in here to where I have a decent setup. The signal's okay. I've had a little bit of audio interference in the last live reading, and then in a recent upload I did, there was some audio glitchiness in the beginning, so hopefully it doesn't impact this reading tonight. But what else? I don't think there really is anything else, although I'll just say before we get into this and the channeled messages that came in before the layout, I've got like 3 new readings posted, but something happened in the algorithm this week on YouTube where a lot of people, even people with like thousands and thousands of followers, were getting like really dismal views, and it's kind of been across the platform. So the last 2 readings I did that are really, or they're actually 3 readings, I think, are really great, but they've had very minimal views. My upload times have been really long too, so that's part of it, is that one of my uploads didn't end up going into premiere state until like midnight my time, so that hindered the views also, I think. But they're great readings, so go back and watch those if you haven't caught them yet. And thank you for catching this. It looks like I have someone in here that I want to say hi to because I want to try to attend to my chat. So thank you for being here. Hi from Denmark. Nice to see you. Or I don't know if that says Denmark. It says DK Mank. Sorry. I didn't mean to say that you're in Denmark. That's me having a hard time seeing, apparently. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And the channeled messages that were coming through were really funny. The first couple, though, I was like, oh wow, okay, it looks like this one might get a little bit global in terms of like what's going on, world events, because Rage Against came through, which makes me think of Rage Against the Machine. But then I was like, what also could be that there's some rage, someone's experiencing some rage in the collective, I don't really know. And then it was also talking about reminding me and making sure that I mention Romani Day of Resistance, which is today, May 16th. And this is a day in history that I've never heard of, but we truly have the Roma people and the Romani community to thank for the fact that we still have tarot to this day, even though it was kind of came into being around the 12th and 13th and 14th centuries in Europe. The reason that we even still have and can enjoy this type of divination is because the Roma community kept it alive. Even when, I mean, tarot originally was also the Christian Catholic Church wasn't even necessarily against tarot. Tarot was used even by monks and whatnot for meditative practices. But anyways, sorry, I'm all off on a tangent. The Romani Day of Resistance is from World War II, when many thousands and thousands and thousands of Roma people had genocide committed against them during the Holocaust in Germany. And that's maybe a fact that other people may not know. Hi. And so they had caught wind, or else were straight up informed, I'm not sure which, that the next day there were going to be 300 Roma people sent to the gas chamber. And so rather than go along They ended up not reporting in the morning as they were supposed to. And when the SS officers went and tried to see what was going on, they had barricaded themselves into their barrack, and they resisted all day, and none of them were executed that day. And so it was of great concern to the SS soldiers that were running the camps. And so they had to end up maneuvering and transferring a bunch of Roma people to another camp because they were worried about there being a bigger rebellion. So days of resistance like that are important to celebrate. And it's very important to celebrate the Roma community, who we have them to thank for tarot and for the fact that we still get to enjoy tarot to this day. And I want to acknowledge I know, it's so interesting. It's very interesting. So that was the kind of the first things that were coming through. I was like, okay, this might be a reading that's a little bit more about like, what kinds of things are you doing to feel safe and to support your community from like a mutual aid framework, right? Like what, in my community, I've dialed it back. I'm not so much in the streets anymore, going to actions and rallies and whatnot, but I'm doing rapid response because where we live, ICE is out of control, right? Immigration. And so they're terrorizing the community. And so lots of people across the country, especially during the first Trump administration, but now as well, started forming like, how can we rapidly respond and support community members whose loved ones may have just gotten disappeared while at work, right? And now their families at home with no income coming in, and what are we going to do? And where did they go? Where were they sent, right? It's intentionally cruel. It's by design so that it keeps people afraid. And so that's just one example. There's all kinds of people doing all kinds of different stuff and causing good trouble and whatever in the US and in other places. And so at first I thought, well, maybe that's what I'm supposed to be talking about. Although, for some reason I was like, that doesn't seem like it though. So I was kind of pulling more tiles, doing a little bit more meditation. And then it started coming through about my haters, and they were my haters very specifically. So I was like, okay, it looks like they're going to be watching tonight, potentially. If they're not watching the live, they're going to catch this reading later. And it named like literally just about every hater that I know of that I have. I have a couple people that hate watch me here, including a couple family members, and not family members too. It's family and non. But I knew, I was like, okay, so haters are on board. All right. And at one time it even said, haters be hating. And I just cracked up. I was like, okay. So when I was like, well, how are those two messages going to really come together? Like, because it's not just, I'm not being told to talk about my haters just because I want to jerk off about my haters on my own channel. Like, that's not really my thing. It's tempting sometimes, but that's not why I made this channel. But it's because other people have haters, especially people in this collective that maybe consider themselves on a twin flame journey or going through a spiritual ascension or whatever. You often attract karmic people in your life that are there to give you a bunch of challenges so that you grow and heal and learn from the challenges, right? And so it's not just my haters. There might be haters cross-watching this that want bad things for me and you, right, in this collective. And so to me, it was really funny because I was like, oh, good. My haters are going to be here. I know who they are. I know their names. I'm not going to name them here. But what makes me laugh, but also what's so sad about it, is that with everything happening in the world, and this is where I think the two themes come together, I'm embarrassed for my haters, because it's like, really, this is how you're going to spend your time when the world is going through the things that it is, the environment, the swing towards fascism, whatever, pick your issue. There's multiple to be troubled over, right? Why are you focused on me and who I'm fucking and what creative moves I'm making? Like, aren't you done? Like, aren't you bored? Like, it just makes me laugh. I'm embarrassed and sad for the people that are going to sit and watch this and hate me and send me dark arrows and practice black magic, because I have a couple haters that do all of that, okay? So you probably do too. You might be sick of it like I am. it's embarrassing. I get embarrassed for them to think that they would be this committed to, it's because they're unhealed. Okay. So as much as I want to laugh at them, there comes a point where it's not so funny. It can feel really serious, and then it can also feel very sad. It's like, you need help. If you're this focused on someone and who's just going about their own life and not giving two fucks about you, something's wrong. Maybe you need to reprioritize what's important to you in your life, whether it's fighting back against fascism, right? Actually making your own art instead of plagiarizing mine or somebody else's or whatever, right? Like, and whatever, these problems are as old as time. It's not like me saying this on this platform is going to change anything, but it was amusing to me, and it was entertaining to try to figure out, like, how do all these themes come together. So that's how they come together for me. So now we'll just do a point in time general layout here. And hi Neelam, thank you for being here. Hi Em, nice to see you. Nice to see you all. Neelam, yeah, you can ask me a question, although I am newer to doing lives, and so I don't know for how long I'll be able to do that, answer live questions directly on a layout like this, but I'm certainly happy to try to answer a question for you. Yes. So in the meantime, I'm doing a point in time reading, and this is a general point in time. Where are we in time, and what do we need to understand about this point in time in this collective, if you're catching this for this general reading? I tend to never say this in my readings, but I don't know if I should start or what. But if it doesn't resonate, don't try to force it. If it's not clicking, it's not for you, right? You don't need to worry or start tripping out if what I'm saying isn't making sense to you. Because it's a collective reading, it just means that it's probably not your reading, right? So, yeah. This is going to be a point in time reading, and Neelam, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not, but I would love to answer a question for you. That's just so you know, in case you didn't hear that yet. So what's going to be important? What's going to be important for us to know as a collective? Point in time. What do we need to know at this point in time? My name is Cynthia. If you've never checked out my readings before, I've been reading cards since I was 15, and I'm 51 now, so that's a long time to be reading cards. I feel pretty good at it at this point. But what I love about cards is that there's always more to learn and more depth to them than you would ever imagine. I love how they constantly surprise you and challenge you, and I just love reading cards. I'm also a clinical social worker, so I have a private practice as a talk therapist as well. So let's just get into it. What do we need to know for this point in time? Lots of people. Might get a little crowded in this reading. There's a lot of people being represented here, and a lot of pentacles. So we are represented by the Fool card, which is right here. So we're getting a little bit of background and a lot of future energy. So that's kind of nice, because usually people are wanting predictive readings. They're not necessarily wanting readings to look back in time, right? They want readings to know maybe what's coming down the line. And like I said, there's a lot of people here. So your life may feel a little bit hectic and busy or confusing with a lot of players involved, but let's just see. There's been a concern of yours in the past that maybe you were going to be left behind in some way, or not cared for, or left out in the cold is often the phrase that you hear when talking about the Five of Pentacles. Like left behind by people that you love, or by people where you want inclusion and want to be a part of it and want to feel safe and secure within the group, right? And within your material world. You went through a period somewhat recently where you felt concerned for that maybe you were going to be left behind. What's interesting is that you didn't panic. You didn't think, okay, I got to get clingy, or I got to beg these people to let me stay or let me in, or do, you didn't become a chaser or a pick-me. You recognized, well, I need to manage these fears. These are my fears to manage. Deep down, I know I'm an Empress, and I know that I attract everything that I need, okay? Right beyond this Empress is this Queen of Pentacles. So this is either another version of you in Empress status, being aware that you need to be attracting your own security, or it's somebody else. That's where a lot of court cards get confusing, because there are a lot of court cards here. There's two queens, there's a king, there's a page, and then there's you, right? So it's a lot of people. It's just a lot of people. We're going to have to get some clarity here, because there might be an actual, I don't know, it doesn't look to me like a love triangle though, because there are no cup cards, but there is a Lovers card. So let's just keep going here. You may have, it just came into focus. Okay, you feel on the outside of this King of Swords and Queen of Pentacles. You may have at one time loved this King of Swords, okay, but they're with this Queen because they're right next to each other, and you're the one that's a little bit on the outside of it. And it had you literally feeling on the outside. You were like, I'm not going to be included, or I'm not being chosen here. This king is with this other person. This doesn't have to be romantic. It can be in another scenario, like a group project at work, or your family. Like this could be your parents, right? It'd be a little weird because you're in an Empress energy and they're below you, so probably not. But it can look a number of ways, right? That's what I'm getting at here. You're feeling worried about and kind of triangulated against. It could also be by like your brother and sister or something, right? And so here's now where we are in time, is that you've been reflecting back on that and concerned about it and worried about, I don't want to be the odd person out here. I don't really want to be left out in the cold, but I'm not going to beg anyone, right? I don't do that. I'm an Empress. Even though I feel vulnerable, I'm not going to demean myself to chase or do anything, which is wise. That's what an Empress does. She doesn't chase after anything. So now here we are in time. In the immediate future, you're going to still be in this period of doubt, is Five of Nines. I'm sorry, not Five of Nines, Nine of Swords. And so with the Nine of Swords, it often reflects concerns and worries that are not really based in any kind of fact. They're really present for you though. You've been through it for whatever reason. About what, I'm not exactly sure, but you're really still kind of concerned about something, about your own position, your own status. There's also a Page of Pentacles right beyond the Nine of Swords that might be an offer that's being made to you that you're going to have to go within about. It could be a wedding proposal, honestly, because often the Knave of Coins shows up for me when he's offering a ring, especially with the Lovers card. And you're going to have to go deep and think about it, because the last you've understood, you were not the chosen one by this person that you're maybe in love with, okay, this king. You're going to have a big choice to make, because if you have felt sort of perpetually insecure, you now have a, now all of a sudden if they show up like, wait, I want to be with you, that is going to have you in your head and in your feelings trying to figure out, well, can I really trust them? Or am I better off to just stay on my own? Yes, I love them, but this whole situation has hurt me. I might be better to stay on my own. I know at least right now, what I do know is that I need more than what I was getting in the relationship. I need things to be in a more equal state of, what I give you of my Empress energy, you give back to me like an emperor, right? Not like a page. Okay. You need and want there to be like an even effort or an even commitment or an even investment in the relationship. You don't want to be put in a position where you feel like you're being put on the outside. And as a result of that, you have resting to do because, yeah, I'm just going to have to get some clarifiers because I am not sure. Because there's 2 queens here plus an empress, it's like, well, which one are you? Are you all 3 of these queens or what? I don't think so, but, I want to just get some clarity here. What's the Queen of Cups? Is the Queen of Cups you? There's too many people involved, and that's why you feel like, well, where do I even fit, right? Like, maybe I don't even want to go in the cathedral, right? Like, maybe I want to go the other way, but there's something you're going to have to think deeply about and make a decision about, and it's this offer that this Knave of Coins is making, which is a page. I understand what this is. This Queen and the 4 of Swords is like, I'm not going to do all the work in a relationship anymore. I'm not going to give more than I was getting. I need something more even and fair feeling in a relationship. And again, this doesn't have to be romantic. It can be any kind of, like a family dynamic where you're the black sheep and suddenly someone comes in and invites you to a family gathering and you're like, I really got to think seriously about this because these people don't make me feel loved, right? They're my blood, but they're toxic or they're karmic in nature for me. And now I have to think deeply about whether I want to move on my own and move away from my family. Okay, it could very much be something like that. It definitely does not have to be about love. In fact, for many of you, it isn't about love. It's more about your security, which is a lot of times family of origin, right? Like, maybe I want to strike out on my own and go no contact with this family. Maybe you're coming from a family of a lot of dysfunction, addiction, narcissism, right? And you're like, I don't get my needs met in this family and I'm better off to stop trying and to rest and to take care of myself and to plant my seeds somewhere else. That's what's coming through. That's the point in time that we're in, and that's what you're thinking about. Is this family or love or both? What kind of relationships are these? They're definitely relationships that until now have caused you to feel left out and on the outside. Sometimes that's of our own making, though. So let's find out more. What is this about? Yeah, it's about feeling hurt in your heart. And again, it doesn't have to be romantic, but it very much now with this Ace of Cups is going to be romantic for some. You've put a stop to something that has been hurting you. You've gotten vulnerable, though. You don't want to close your heart off, but by let me just see here. Yeah, there is love involved here for many of you because now we have a Knight of Cups. You had to set boundaries with this lover for many of you because your needs have not been met, and it's creating a death, meaning a complete transformation for you. You can also be a water sign because there's this Queen of Cups here. And this death card represents Scorpio, which is a water sign. So you might be a Scorpio, or you might have a lot of Scorpio in your chart. But it's taken you into a very intense transformative process to do this, right? To say, I'm not going to keep pouring my heart or pouring into situations that don't pour back into me, including romantically. I'm not going to do it. I'd rather be on my own. It's sorrowful though. You don't really want to be on your own, but this is you. You're this empress and you're like looking on to this whole thing, and to you it looks like a big shit show. Honestly, you're like, I don't want a big tangled mess like this, where everybody's got an opinion, where everybody's trying to interfere, where everybody's got an agenda, some of which may feel nefarious to you, right? I don't see a lot of betrayal here, though, so it may just be karmic dynamics that aren't really the greatest for you. Yeah, okay, love is coming through quite a bit now, because now we have the Two of Cups, the Ace of Cups, the Knight of Cups, and the Lovers. So yeah, for many of you, this is going to be a proposal. Someone might propose or want to take things to another level with you, and you have real doubts because of this clusterfuck situation that's happened with all these people. Who is everybody? Hi, Jalen. Hi, nice to see you. Thank you for being here. Welcome into this crazy scenario that we're reading about. What's happening? In any case, it seems like a big part of the interference in the relationship has been all of these involved parties. It's been too much, right? Like you were like, I don't want a relationship that has all this interference, all this karmic interference, right? What happened here that caused you to feel on the outside? It's important that you understand that this is a very temporary feeling for somebody like an Empress. You're an Empress, so something about this really has you feeling vulnerable if this is the energy that you've been in until this point in time, and it's still to go on a little bit. There's still a little bit more confusion for you and self-doubt. It's important to understand, though, because you wouldn't show up here like an Empress if you weren't an Empress. You're an Empress, and it doesn't have to be feminine. You can be a masculine who understands that the benefit of being in feminine energy, which is receptive. You may be a masculine that's like, I don't chase women. Women come to me, right? And still, that's like being an Empress energy. Okay, so that's just a little mini explanation there. Okay, boom. Someone's going to propose marriage, because this card in Kipper for me means marriage. Receiving a gift. It's this Page of Pentacles that's going to make a proposal. And that's a major turnaround from feeling left in behind. Hi, Linda. Nice to see you. What a beautiful name. I love that name, Linda. You probably see this behind me. This is a painting of tundra swans that my aunt did that I just love. I love swans. So there was major sorrow here. Major sorrow for you or for somebody in this equation. It's been a very long journey. It's been a long journey. That's why this feels so heavy, even though you're an Empress. Because I'm like, oh, the second I saw you connected to this Five of Pentacles, I was like, oh, I felt sorrowful for you. And I don't normally look at this Empress card like this in the Marseille deck, but she looks very sorrowful. Honestly, this Empress, she looks really sad in her facial expression. There's been a lot of lack of clarity and grief and adversity. It's been a very long journey of a lot of people being involved and interfering. Like, what is this? What was the interference? I'll pull some Lenormand here for that too. What was all this interference about? It caused you a lot of doubt and a lot of sorrow, and it made you feel like this new life or this true love for me is never going to happen. Like, it really casts that in a lot of doubt. Well, it's saying that's not actually true. There's a proposal that's coming in the fairly near future. So we're going to have to pull cards about that, because who are all these people? What are all these people doing in this situation? It's family. It's a family legacy. Wealth is involved. So you might be a couple that are from two different worlds and two different backgrounds, okay? And that's why everybody has something to say about it. Your family might be like, you can't be with them. They're, the Capulets and the Montagues, right? Or Romeo and Juliet. There's some kind of family legacy here, where it's customary for family to be very involved in this kind of decision. And that's why it's created so much, because you may have realized, even though you're an empress, you're never going to be considered an empress in the eyes of this family, right? Or my partner here in the equation is never going to choose me because they would have to pay too high a price with their family. So that's why you felt so alone. And so kind of abandoned, honestly, even though you're this empress, you may know you're an empress, but when you feel this abandon, it's kind of like, well, so what? Like, where's my emperor, right? Like, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be cast out here where have to go lick my wounds. Like, I want to be with my partner. Well, the good news is that your partner's going to come make an offer. They're going to make a marriage proposal. They're going to kind of defy their family here, is what it's showing. It's going to be a lot of work, though. It's going to be work, because to go against convention, if this is like a cultural value, for example, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for both of you. I think that's what that Seven of Pentacles is, but let's see here. That doesn't mean it's impossible, right? It doesn't mean it's impossible. Of course not. But what's the Seven of Pentacles here? Oops, we got a couple flyers here. Yeah, this is reflecting what just came through in the Lenormand and the Kipper. There's going to be a really positive message coming for you, that this person is walking away from the conventional demands of their culture or their family or their religious, insular, like closed religious system, right? That says you can't marry someone outside of our faith or whatever. There's good news coming in for you in the form of this proposal. It's going to make you really happy, because if you've been feeling abandoned, this is going to make you feel loved. Like, okay, this person does love me. They do care enough about me to be willing to consider making these sacrifices for me. They're saying, I'm walking away from the demands of my family. I'm not going to try to live up to that anymore. I want to be with you. There's worry on your part, though, and I understand. I would be worried too. You're wondering, well, maybe I should just stay on my own. Who am I to tear up this whole family tradition, right? That's how I would feel, possibly, if I knew by deciding to be with me, their family's going to disown them. Like, I might feel really like, whoa, that's kind of a burden to carry then, right? Like, now you have no family but me. Like, I would worry about that, honestly. So it's understandable why there's these worries here. It's coming way more into focus. This person's coming in and they're saying, I want to be with you. I'm letting this go. I'm walking away. I'm no longer going to try to live up to my family's expectations of how I'm supposed to live, what I'm supposed to do. I want to be with you. I want to start a life with you. I'm leaving this legacy behind. I'm leaving this family tradition behind. Even if it means losing wealth. Wealth is involved here in some way. I don't see it necessarily being like a loss of wealth, but there's going to be some work to be done because it's going to cause a major judgment day in this person's life because they're walking away from family demands that are telling them no, or that you're like star-crossed, or you shouldn't be together. Oh my God, look at this right here, the sun. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. Okay, this is as overwhelming or as scary as this feels to you right now. This person hasn't made this decision lightly, and I'm sure you can imagine that. This is why you've been so sorrowful, because you've been like, well, they are not going to choose me. And I understand, they're not going to thwart their family's cultural values or the demands that they marry someone within their faith or whatever it is, right? It really had you feeling sad. You were prepared to move on though on your own, because you're like, I'm not gonna beg, I'm not gonna chase, I'm not gonna try to tear up this family. I'm an empress. I don't act like that. I don't need to do anything like that. Well, this person's thought long and hard about it. It's not like they're just like, fuck everything. There's been a big long road for you and for this person about trying to figure out, can I live with the consequences if I go against the wishes of my family? Can I live with that? They've decided, yes, they can. They want to be with you. They want to give you what you deserve. They don't want you to be single. They want to be with you, okay? They're sincere in what they're saying. They're sincere. What else do you need to know? This is positive. It's a hopeful, it's hopeful anyways. If this is what you've been hoping for, you have reason to hope. What else to know about this situation? What else to know? Very interesting. I don't get like cultural star-crossed, we're going to have to fight against a lot of people to be together. I don't get those kind of readings very often, so this is really intriguing. What else to know about this situation? The plant kingdom should be included in addressing this issue. And then dark arrows, use caution, lower your profile. So that's where our haters are coming in here. We've got people hate watching that probably don't like the news that this relationship is going to move forward. Their karmic interference is here. Dark arrows, use caution, lower your profile. So, you know what? We're going to smudge a little bit. I hadn't done that yet, and the charcoal was going to burn out, it looked like. So just smudge some of this away. People's hate, don't they have anything better to do? Like what we were saying at the beginning of the reading, isn't there enough fucking crisis and shit show going on in the world that you don't have anything better to do than hate on someone's love relationship? It's absurd at this point. It's just ridiculous. And so that's what these cards are saying. Like there's dark arrows, use plants. And so I'm burning some copal and some myrrh to use plants to cleanse out this hateration energy. Like, get the fuck on, haters. Like, what do you even it doesn't make sense. I mean, if it's cultural, that's a little bit different. I mean, there's traditions going back thousands of years, like, and the position of people that uphold that might be like, who are you to thwart tradition that's been in place for thousands of years? You're not bigger than the community, right? There's just differing values. So I'm not trying to but my haters were in the first part of this reading. So I'm sure that some of them are in these people that don't want this and that are sending dark arrows and that don't like that your person's about to walk away from it all and give it to you, right? And offer you their hand. Don't cast your pearls before swine. So you probably wouldn't, because you're an empress, that you don't cast your pearls before swine. You don't go try to explain yourself to other people about, well, I tried to talk about, you don't owe people explanations when you're an empress. You don't cast your pearls before swine. You don't go trying to convince even your person to be with you. You just realize, well, I'm not a chaser. I attract the things that are in my life. I maintain my dignity. I maintain a presence that's self-honoring. And, that's just that. Blend in. Because you don't have to do anything other than continue being an empress. You don't have to do anything. Just blend in, shapeshifter. You get to just blend in because this is all about to unfold. This is pretty positive. I'm going to pull some tiles and see what other messages to know right now about the situation. We can know who that's for, what other information might be important to know. We've got Moon, which is interesting. Moon. So there might be something about the next moon cycle, that when this is going to happen, that might be like a time frame. It's not very far off. You have like one little card of worry here, of time of worry to get through before this person comes in and like proposes to you, basically. This has caused you a lot of pain. You might end up going somewhere with this person because we have waves right here and moon. So moon and tides have something to do with this. That's lovely, actually. I wonder how the moon and the tides relate here. You might be people that live near the ocean. I see Tut here, which to me is Tutankhamun, right? So Egypt or the Middle East or the Ptolemaic reign, the pyramids. We have Lin. The name Lin is here. Linn. Paint. You might be a painter or an artist. We were just talking about my Aunt Dorothy's paintings. She was a phenomenal oil painter. May she rest in peace. Yeah, the lunar cycle is really cool here. This lunar tides have meaning. You might have spent time at the ocean with this person. You might go, you know, who doesn't think of their lover when they're watching a sunset at the ocean, right? Like there might be any kind of stuff like that in play, right? What else? Who else? Trying to look for some names here. Noni. And we had Lynn come out. I don't know why there aren't any names jumping out at me right now. Ava. Wes. Papa. So someone's dad for sure was maybe trying to prevent this from happening. West and East. So it could be a difference between Eastern and Western culture. Papau is here, like New Guinea. Papa and then son. So this was definitely a father and son conflict at one point about this relationship. Linus. Tia. So there's more family relations there with Auntie being present. And here's Aunt. So yeah, definitely everyone had something to say about this. Like we were talking about a few minutes ago, like everybody and their mother had an opinion about this relationship, and it really clouded everything. It made everything very confusing. You recognized this isn't for me to try to figure out. It's for me to maintain my regality, my sovereignty, recognize that I don't try to fight or convince anyone to be with me. I don't go up against culture. I just know when to maintain my sort of regal nature, right? And accept what I can't change, which is this family's culture. I'm not going to try to convince anyone, is what you decided. It's been very difficult. Lots of parties involved here. Lots. Italy might be in play. Here's Fiat. Someone might, although Fiats are here too, but yeah, it's weird. I'm not seeing more names. I'm sure there are plenty here. They're just not jumping out at me. I don't know why. Yeah, I'll go ahead and stop looking for more names because otherwise that's not very interesting, you know. But definitely family conflict for somebody. Family not supporting the fact that you want to be together. This person has decided they don't care. They're willing to take that chance. They're willing to go against their family in order to be together. It's going to take work, but it's also going to bring you the sun, which is the happiest card in the deck. So it's important that you don't be so sort of like caught in this old feeling of abandonment that you don't open up to the new possibility of like, hello, this person actually does want to be with you, and they're making a lot of really big changes to do so. So I would definitely make sure, and it's not for me to lecture you. You already know. You're already pretty wise as an empress, but you definitely don't want to take that for granted. You want to recognize that, yeah, it's going to be hard, but this person's choosing me, so I'm going to let myself be chosen. Like, don't fight them. Like, I don't know where that's coming from, but I feel like you've been so sorrowful about this that when this person comes in and is like, I'm doing it, I want to marry you, I've told my family I'm not going to live up to their expectations anymore, for whatever reason you might be afraid and tempted to be like, oh, come on, like, don't do that. I don't want to be the reason that you're not with your family, right? Like, I understand. I can understand why you would have that anxiety of like, I don't want to be the reason that your family has nothing left to do with you. I don't want it to cause that for you. I don't want to be the cause of that. This person is a grown-up and they're making an adult decision, and they're doing it because they love you, and because to them the value doesn't make any sense anymore either. Whatever the cultural value is being upheld here. So it's important that you don't push this person away. But I understand wanting to talk it through and be like, are you sure? Because I don't feel good about separating you from your family, right? Or I don't want to go all in and then you find out you can't do it and you bail on me, right? And go back to your family. Like, there's things to be talked through, and it will be work, but it's worth it. It's going to bring in this really joyful sun energy. And you're going to feel good when this person comes in to tell you their truth. It's going to feel really good because right now you're feeling pretty abandoned, even though your higher wisdom is trying to help you understand that it's, well, that's just how it is in the world. Some people don't have a choice. They have to put their family ahead of love. And it's like, this is going to come through like a big shock. Like, no, that's not what's going to happen this time. This time somebody's choosing love, right? They're not choosing their family tradition. So let's see. I'll just pull maybe a couple more cards about the future. Like, what else to know about the future of this situation? What else to know about the... Hello, what are you doing? Hi. What's up? That's Joey. I don't know if you can see him. He looks off. I think he's off camera, actually. He's a chonk for sure. All right. What are some things to know and to look forward to about this relationship? Fuck the haters, for one thing. Treasure Island on the split. So it's something really beautiful. Yes, so I like Colette Baron Reid's descriptions here, so I'm going to read them. Card 19 in reverse. Flexible. When you or someone else becomes too rigid, you lose the access to growth and untapped potential and find yourself in an us versus them scenario. Well, you said no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to back out of that. I'm not going to try to fight. Loosen up, open your mind and heart, and see if a more flexible approach feels better. Rigidity will set you up for a fight where there are only losers and no winners. Could you find a way to bring about a result that is mutually beneficial? Meet in the middle. Spirit makes a great mediator. So yeah, this is exactly what I was just saying. Don't be tempted to turn this person down because you're going to feel overwhelmed with the breadth of the offer, given everything that's at stake for them. Hi, Joanne. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here. The next card is Regeneration, 46. This has been very sorrowful for you with this Regeneration card. This speaks to that death card and that water energy of like really having to go through and face the potential loss of this love and how sorrowful it's been for you. The world is based on connections and relationships. No matter what loss has occurred in the past or even now, death and endings are only illusions. There is life after death, love after loss, and in this moment you are radiating the regenerative life force energy that makes you irresistible to love in all forms. You can't make it up. That's the Empress. That's what the Empress does, and that's the energy that you're in. You're radiating it. Now is the time when you will see evidence of this new emergence. Can you feel it? Love is rising up to greet you. This is so special. This is really beautiful, Empress. This is a really... Please take this in and know that you deserve it and know that it's not your fault if the family has something to say about it, okay? You can trust your love here to be doing the right thing for you. It's really beautiful. And then happy, happy. What is this card again? Card 26 in the reverse. If I remember right, this card in the reverse means take everything less seriously and just have some fun. You know, learn to laugh. These are the absurdities of life, right? That certain things feel more important to people than others. They can feel really absurd, right? But I'll read it. Lighten up, because this is the time to be ridiculous and silly. See the world through the eyes of a clown and don't take yourself or any situation right now too seriously. This is for that Nine of Swords. You don't want to be too in your head about this because there's beautiful things coming. Have fun, be playful, and make laughter the order of the day. You'll be surprised by how everything just seems to fall into place when humor leads the way. Being happy and lighthearted is a wonderful icebreaker. Life is meant for play as well as work, for laughter as well as tears, for celebration as well as focus. Spirit wants to sparkle through you today. Smile and enjoy each breath and each moment. Miracles lie in the silly things today. I love it. This reading is really giving you permission to celebrate this. It's going to happen. This is one of those times where the sorrowful walking away that you had to do to realize, like, I can't beat this person's family, right? Their family's important. Their family doesn't support the relationship. I've got to move on. This is one of those times where you're gonna win. You're gonna get the love, and it's gonna be a little bit hard to take in at first, or you might feel guilty about it as the family reacts or sends you a message of negativity or whatever it is, but it's not your problem. And in fact, lighten up, because there's so many beautiful times coming with that Sun card, the proposal, the Lovers, the Two of Cups, the Knight of Cups, like really dreams coming true for you that you gave up on and thought, I'm just going to have to stay to myself until I'm in a situation where my worth is really recognized and the person's not afraid to be with me. Well, guess what? They're not afraid to be with you, and they're going to come and be with you. So don't send them packing. This is what you want, and it's what you've been hoping for. So don't end up feeling for some weird part of you like you need to reject it out of some sense of like, oh, I couldn't do that to them. That's not, let them make their own choice. That's what you did by not turning the screws to this person and putting the pressure on and attacking their family and all that. By not doing that, you get to really enjoy this because this person made their own choice without a big pressure campaign from you. So that's also the reason why you can trust their decision, because you never did a pressure campaign. You never tried to force their hand or give them ultimatums or anything like that. And so they arrived at their decision through the freedom you gave them to draw their own conclusions. It's very beautiful. That's a very beautiful, loving, and generous way to approach something like this. What was seeing here? Yeah. Yes. Okay. So I had a couple people here ask me questions. So let's do that now that this is finished, and then I'll wrap up. What do I see here? Let me... Whoops. Let's drop that card. Okay. I can barely make out... Oh, wait. It's Joanne. Joanne, I'm going to try to ask your question here. Is Joanne's person, her boyfriend that they separated, is he still thinking of her? Is he still planning to reach out? Is he going to call? Yeah. Is he going to reach out to you? Let's find out. Is he still thinking of you? What's happening between you? Is he still thinking of you? Is he maybe going to reach out? It sounds like you're not you're hoping so. You would prefer not to have this relationship end. Oh boy. Okay, this is what I'm picking up for you, Joanne. This is you over here, and this is him. It's very positive, okay? So, you're the Queen of Cups. You're really in your heart. You still care and love this person and hope they want to reach out to you, right? That's what you were saying. In your heart, you're just trying to focus on your work, and you're trying to just do your day-to-day tasks that you need to do. Or if this person said, I want to be with you, but I can't because you do this, that, and the other thing, you're working on that. You're working on making a change, maybe, if this person needed you to make a change. But in any case, you're very thinking a lot about this person and about how much you love them, and you're trying to just focus on your work in the meantime. This person is very... I don't know why they're so happy and hopeful about you. Maybe they know that you're sad, and that makes, not that they want you to be sad, but maybe that's because they realize you still care. I'm curious about that because they have hope in their heart and they have joy on their mind. And they want to move towards you. They do want to move towards you because they see you as happiness. You both see each other as happiness. That's the very center of this card. You both brought each other or bring each other joy. He wants to return. A Knight of Pentacles, though, is not a very fast mover, okay? So it might take him a little while to work back towards you. I don't know, though, with the Sun card. That's what's throwing me off a little bit. The Sun and the Star here. What's the Sun about? It's very positive, okay? So don't worry. I'm not worried about it in any way. I'm just pleasantly surprised to see that. Somebody else was involved here that was disappointed or a disappointment. It may be that they thought that they maybe were going to try to be with someone else. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense or what happened. But where things are headed is the Pope. And that often, again, can mean like a minister, okay? Like, what is this? Where he might want to come back and make it official with you, right? Through like a marriage or whatever, for an official process. What's the Pope here? Yeah. You may end up... Okay, listen here, Joanne. You may end up getting a little more than you bargained for. Somebody else may end up being interested in you also. Okay? There's other parties for both of you. Like, there were other people that have been interested in both you and him is kind of what if they're in the background or what, I don't know. But they maybe were going to actually try to fight. Like, this person over here might have been trying to fight with you over him and vice versa. You might have someone show up in your life that wants to fight him for you, kind of thing, right? There's just other people possibly interested in you. And there's a little bit of conflict, but also a 5 is, yeah, because what does that mean? This could mean a couple different things. Give me a second here, because now I'm wondering if somebody was actively trying to prevent him from coming back to you. I'm confused by that. This could also mean, I don't know, I don't want to jump to that conclusion yet. But this Queen of Wands here I think that's what's going on. This other person might try to cause problems for this when he comes back towards you, because she's going to be disappointed. But if he knows you are wanting to be back together, he's going to leave her behind, is kind of what I'm seeing here. And she may try to cause problems for you, okay? What is this? Yeah, there's a trickster that's going to try to cause a problem. When he comes back towards you, just know that. Someone's going to try to cause a problem for it. Okay? So, yeah. There's a long history, though. This person... Just know that there's going to be somebody that tries to cause a problem. What should you know about that? It is. There's someone who's going to try to cause blocks and illusions for you coming back together. All right? So just know that. I was worried that it might be somebody that's trying to... God, my legs are falling asleep. Sorry. Ouch. I was worried that it might be someone that actually was going to hire a practitioner to try to do like a breakup spell or something so that he won't think of you as wanting to come back towards you. And this is saying that, okay? But don't be afraid. They're going to try to cause a block and an illusion for you two to get back together. But the fact is that he's so happy about you that I can't imagine it would work, because that kind of spell work doesn't work if someone really wants to, if two people really want to be together. I'm all intrigued by your story all of a sudden. I'm curious, what is that? They're going to do spell work against you? Yeah, it's getting confusing now. It's getting too involved. I don't know who it is anymore, but they're going to be like trying to cause you confusion, or trying to cause conflict in your relationship, or trying to block it from happening by hiring a magical practitioner like a high priest to do some work against you. I don't tell you that to scare you, but that's what's going to happen. So just know about that. But your person does want to come back towards you. He loves you. He's hopeful about your future, okay? He sees you as happiness. So just know that there's going to be some people that don't like that, though. So just try to get ready for that, I guess, is the best advice I could give you. And someone else had a question too, but I haven't seen them come back. So, yeah, Linda, do you want I'll ask you a question about your work situation. All right, for Linda Swan, what does Linda need to know about her work situation? What's some good information for Linda about work? And this will be my last question answered, because I want to go ahead and wrap up after this. Yeah, you are so welcome, Joanne. Linda, let's see what's going on for you in work. What's happening in your work situation? What do you need to know about work? What do you need to know about work? What do you need to know about work? So on the split, we got the Hanged One. So you might be feeling in a place of stagnant or non-moving, or like you can't make a move right now at work, but let's just see. Whoa. This is a really interesting first column here with these 4 cards, because we have communication about a lot of joy and a lot of happiness, but sorrow is in the facts position about work. So I could see that possibly being something to do with, once in a while, the 9 of Cups will indicate kind of being too in your cups, or like you celebrated too soon, or you celebrated too hard. You got good communication about like a promotion, or that you did great on a project and you were over the moon happy, and then something you found out like, oh, actually no. So there's some sorrow here. Or maybe you got a promotion and it caused sorrow for somebody else. I don't know. Your future or your fortune feels very vulnerable to you right now. You may have had to kind of fight for your position at work, and you're worried about that because you feel pretty vulnerable, and you may have had to kind of compete with someone at work. And that's where the sorrow's coming from, and the doubt, because maybe you're not a very competitive person, or you're worried about this change in fortune that could end up being really negative for you. And so you're like, oh man, what? But what's important here, Linda, first of all, is that the Wheel of Fortune with the 10 of Cups is a very positive omen. That's super, I mean, that's like stacked good fortune in your favor. It's a 10-10. It's very beautiful. So this is very positive. You're going to have to guard your resources a little bit and protect your money. So just be careful about how you're spending. But you're coming into like new projects and new energy and new starts with something. The card in the shadow position is the Queen of Wands. And I don't know if that's you or this person that maybe you've been competing with at work, that you're sort of like, God, screw this person. Like, why don't they just go do something else? Or like, right, like you don't want to be in this competition, is what I'm picking up, and it's really gotten you upset at points. And it might go back a ways. I don't know if this is... Anyways, yeah, sorry. I got distracted by another message that came through. What's the Four of Pentacles here for Linda's work situation? Is that a situation where she's going to need to kind of be careful with resources for a little bit at work, or you're going to have to stand up for yourself, stand your ground, even though this conflict with whoever you've been in a competition with is still it's not over. You're still going to have to be in it for a little bit. So I'm sorry, because I can tell that you've been worried about it and upset about it. There's also a lot of reason to be happy though, okay? So don't get too down about and out about this, and don't worry that you're going to still have to keep in this fight for a little bit, because with this Ten of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune, it's super, really positive. Like if you ever wanted good cards in a work layout, it's the Wheel of Fortune and the Ten of Cups. Like tons and tons of joy, tons and tons of good fortune in your favor coming, right? You are going to be chosen, or you're going to have to make a choice. But I have a sense that this might be that you're the one that's chosen here by an official person. Okay, so whatever competition or conflict that you've been in, either with a coworker or a current boss or whatever, it's not going to be for much longer. There's going to be a major shift in your fortune. You feel vulnerable about your fortune, but what's true about your fortune is that there's going to be really good things coming. You're going to have to protect yourself a little bit longer though, okay? And you might have to choose. What's the Two of Pentacles and the Pope? Just do your work. That's all you need to focus on. Don't get too in your head. It's going to be easier said than done, I know. I don't miss the workplace at all. I work for myself now because of shit like this. But like, all you need to do is just focus on your work, and you don't have to worry. Just focus on your work. Focus on doing what you know you need to do to show up, doing your good ethical work, standing your ground. Don't let this competition get you down, because good things are happening. You're just going to have to watch out for yourself and watch your back a little bit longer before it's over with. But just keep doing your work and it's going to be all good. So I think that is going to be it for the night. Okay, yeah, I don't have any... That's okay. That's okay, Anshita. It's okay. I just am kind of done for the night. Like my legs are kind of falling asleep. The way I sit is kind of janky down here. So you can, I've been setting the goal to do lives every Friday evening. So come back if you want on next Friday and I can answer questions for you at that point. I'm sorry I don't have it really in me tonight. I'm a little bit tapped out for the evening. But I really appreciate you being here. Thank you. And I have lots and lots and lots of other readings posted that are just uploads. So feel free to go check any of those out and you might find kind of relevant information in some of those too. So I thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Take good care, everybody, and have a good night. Oops.